Training camp is here. Fantasy football season is here. And today we're going to be looking at a batch of running backs, looking at the advanced analytics, where they're going at in drafts, and see whether or not we want to draft them in our leagues. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're looking at your players every day. We're doing player rankings, your running backs, your wide receivers. We're looking at draft strategies. We're going to help you set your lineups every single week to help you win your leagues. Click that button. Stop missing out. It's free. It's going to help you. But we're bouncing ideas off you today by going over some running backs. Our first one today is Bijan Robinson. Our first overview on him on the season. He's the first running back off the board on average on Underdog Fantasy. Some leagues he's the second due to Saquon. But the thing about this and top running backs, people get very nervous with their first pick when they're drafting at the top of drafts. When you're drafting at the tail, it's usually whatever falls to you, and you just make your decision, and other drafters make your decision for you. But when you're looking at these top running backs, a lot of people are concerned with workload and everything else, injuries, and honestly, the best thing to do is look at your top 5 players or your favorite players here, study them, and take the one that excites you the most. And if he's there, get excited about that draft pick. And if it's Bijan, there's a lot of things to get excited about him about. He's getting a lot of work in the passing game. He's running 17 routes a game, which is going to elevate his floor. He's very productive. 20 points per game last year. 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Looked the part instantly at Texas. Can catch the ball out of the backfield, downfield, or out in the flats. He can get you yards after contact. He can make you miss. He can run through you. He can make it look gritty. He can make it look sexy. This is an upside running back prospect who we've been pounding the drum for since he's been in high school. And the fact that he was able to score immense fantasy points already in his career is just a testament to what we've been watching over the course of his career. You can pivot to the wide receivers. You can pivot to Saquon, maybe even Gibbs. But get the running back or that first-round player at the top that excites you the most, and live by the gun that you're shooting with. And that's what you got to do. Chase Brown, 11th running back off the board per Underdog Fantasy. 27th player overall. 15.9 fantasy points per game. 16.1 PPR. Over there on Rotoviz and their charts right below me, we're getting a lot of opportunities, especially week 9 to the tail end of the season. Look for him to be buoyed in this offense. Look for him to be the guy to start the season. 4.2 true yards per carry, 31st among running backs, but he was getting a lot of work. And one thing we look at is the work in the passing game. 11.2% target share, 12 routes per game, fantasy points per game solid, and we're getting a lot of RB1 weeks. We're getting drafted as a borderline RB1, RB2, and we're in that range where there's a lot of ambiguous upside. And there's a lot of upside with this player due to the size-adjusted athleticism, due to the Bengals' offense and their ability to move the chains. They got some competition there in the backfield, but it's nothing tremendous where it should eat into his work. This is a running back here, too, where you're drafting 3rd round, 4th round. Depending on your league, too, and format, it could be later in the second if running backs are going heavy, old-school style. But you're catching him at a value where there's upside there. The touches are going to be there. However, there's other running backs on the board you might like better. Breece Hall, Kyren Williams, James Cook. Merritt Hampton's climbing the board. He is climbing the board right now due to the news on Najee Harris. He might climb up to this range. He may not. But you got him at a good discount. The wide receivers here, it's ambiguous a little bit. But a lot of them are getting good work and opportunity there where you may want to go that route. This round here, the 3rd round, might make or break your league, but there's also a lot of good upside and a lot of good talent here. RB21 off the board, 62nd player off the board on Underdog Drafts, RJ Harvey. The Broncos rookie running back in the 2nd round. We got speed to burn. We are productive at UCF. 96th percentile college dominator rating. We're looking for him to get work in the passing game. We're looking for him to get a lot of touches and opportunities. They brought in J.K. Dobbins. That cooled off the ADP a little bit. If they did not bring in Dobbins, I imagine he'd be rated a little bit higher in ADP. But for the value and where you're seeing him come off the board, there's other running backs there that you might get more excited about, like David Montgomery, some other veterans. But the upside's there. He's being drafted in the same round as Trevion Henderson, Caleb Johnson. When I'm looking at this is rookie running back alley. When you're looking at those running backs at good palatable price tag, if you want veteran running backs and some good wide receivers to start off your draft, you're in the dead zone here. Usually you do not have many running backs this young with this much upside in the dead zone. Usually it's those RB2s, those backup running backs, those 1B running backs that are getting touches that can get you good production. You can lean on one of those 1B running backs or one of those wide receiver 2s that's sitting there here in the dead zone, or pick you up one of these upside rookie running backs. But that's the strategy there, and those are the lanes that you can really go down to, and it really depends on your build too. If you're buoyed up at running back, maybe you can pass because you need to load up more at wide receiver. If you went heavier at running back at the start of your draft and you're very dependable, maybe you can take a chance at one of these rookies. But these rookies are going to give you that upside. One of these guys are going to splash for you at this season. One of them are going to do it. It could be Harvey. This is an offense that's on the come up with Bo Nix. He's a very dependable running back. Sean Payton loves him. I like him at this price tag. It really depends on my build, though. But I'm also looking at the RB31 here off the board in the dead zone, more like the back half of the RB dead zone. And we're looking at Jordan Mason in rounds 8-ish, depending on your format and league. But looking at underdog, Quinshon Judkins is there on the grid. He's falling like a hot knife on butter right now. He was in the 7th round just a few days ago in ADP. We're watching him fall. So more videos I do, the more ADP you'll see on him. But he's falling fast in ADP. But also you're in this line of fire where you're seeing other running backs comparable to Jordan Mason. Like you got Brian Robinson Jr. in that range. You also got Jalen Warren. You got Travis Etienne, Tyrone Tracy. You kind of want to pick your poison in this lane. The wide receiver upside is diminishing, but it's still there where you can pull some strings. You got Mika Buka. If something happens in this offense as he's ramping up. Cooper Kupp, new team. Jaden Higgins is an upside rookie that could hit in this offense. But you're looking at these RB2s here to round out your depth chart. I would not want to be looking at my RB1 in this range. I hope to God you have drafted running backs before you get this late into the draft. But you got a lot of upside plays after this. You may forego the running backs in this area and go running back heavy once you hit the double digits. Travis Etienne still running with the ones. He might start the season off with the ones. And getting a running back that's running with the ones at this late in this stage of the draft is a huge discount, considering Tyrone Tracy could be with the ones, but it sounds like it's going to be a big committee there, and Scadaboo might take it over. Jalen Warren is probably going to lose his job to Caleb Johnson. But looking at Jordan Mason, he could be the guy for the Vikings by the end of the season if something happens to Aaron Jones. If that happens. He's had injuries with the Packers, looked good last year, but if something happens, he could be the guy, could be a committee. If McCaffrey's moving the football, this could be an upside play. But he's not the most talented running back in the world. He's not Saquon Barkley or anything like this. He's just a good running back, good efficiency metrics, good with the football, can take care of the football. Very trusted running back that you can catch at a good discount. Javonte Williams getting drafted RB41. And maybe you want to throw Miles Sanders in there. But whoever wins this running back job for the Cowboys is going to get boosted up the ranks. Javonte Williams is a guy to pay attention to. He's a grinder between the tackles. From what we've been hearing from minicamp and OTAs, Miles Sanders has been looking the best. However, that's through beat writers. And Miles Sanders is always going to look good against air. Javonte Williams, we got to watch him in training camp. I'm not going to lie. We got to watch him in training camp to see where he's headed. Jaden Blue could be getting ramped up in this offense. It's very ambiguous. Phil Maffa is another name you need to pay attention to. You got to watch the Cowboys running backs. Like, I'm not slamming that button right now, but I might get speculative on some of these Cowboys running backs just in case. Just in case I pick the right winner. And this is why I say you need to look at the double-digit rounds here at running back, because you got some options here. They're cheaper than the guys in rounds 9 and 8, obviously, but they're getting comparable workloads. Tajay Spears, Ramondre Stevenson, Trey Benson, an upside flyer. Rashad White's going to get work. He's priced well in this range for how much production he's going to get. Like, appropriately priced, but underpriced. like the market took a hit on him. Ray Davis, an upside play. Isaac Garando could go off if something happens to McCaffrey. You got a lot of talent here in this range, but you may want to speculate on the Cowboys backfield, whether it's Sanders, Williams, Maffa at the end of your draft, Jaden Blue here in the next few rounds, because whoever wins this job is going to see an uptick in value in fantasy football. Jalen Wright is another upside play. RB51 off the board right now. Round 14 draft capital. He's got 4.3 speed with good size. This depth chart is log jammed at running back. They added Alexander Madison, Ollie Gordon this offseason. Devin Achen's not going anywhere. He's going to get most of the workload, so an injury is going to have to happen. But the second running back on the Dolphins usually gives you some good production that you can moneyball with down the line, and they got some good talent here. You got the dependable veteran running back with Alexander Madison. You got Ollie Gordon, who's got a lot of upside to his name, being one of the top running backs in college football over the last few seasons. Jalen Wright is an upside dandy with the size-adjusted athleticism. Somebody's going to win out, get those ancillary touches that could buoy them into fantasy relevancy. A good money ball play with your lineups. Did not get much work last year, but that speed, that size, that second year in the offense is another gamble play late in drafts. If you want to go with another gamble play, Justice Hill. If something happens to Derrick Henry, he's going to get work. He gets work in the passing game. He also gets work randomly throughout the season that allows him to be fantasy relevant. Round 17, more like a cuff to Derrick Henry, so that's something to pay attention to. I would not be drafting him as a standalone asset, and he's more than likely a player that you're probably going to play with off the waiver wire. RB71, Krosky Merritt, we've talked about him a few times, does not have ADP to his name, but is a player to pay attention to, and you may even draft him anyways, because there's a lot of rookie running backs in this class, in this area that you need to pay attention to, but we got some veterans here on the roster that's been hit with injuries off and on. Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler's on the back nine of his career, and if something happens to one of them, then you could see Krosky Merritt step it up. We've seen Jeremy McNichols be productive in this offense, so why not Krosky Merritt? And he's free right now. He doesn't even have ADP. And now we're looking at Keaton Mitchell. He does have ADP. He's one of the last picks on Underdog Fantasy. He is a best ball play, for sure. If something happens to Derrick Henry, he turns into a best ball play because he can get you 10 fantasy points on any given touch. With that speed, with that explosiveness, we got to prove that we have gotten better from that injury, but he's very explosive. We saw that during his rookie season, and he's a home run threat. He's a Will Fuller of running backs when healthy. All he needs is a couple touches, just some daylight, and he's good as gold. He's great for the back end of depth charts as a home run threat, a guy to pay attention to, a guy that everybody's going to rush to the waiver wire for if something happens to Derrick Henry, because he's going to have a lot of upside. The Ravens love this kid. He's got speed to burn. We saw that before, but he's very risky week to week because he's not going to rack up a lot of touches. It's just not going to happen unless something happens to this backfield. It would be a committee between him and Hill if something happens to Henry, and he's not going to get a ton of touches either way. But those touches are going to be dynamite. You're going to be glued to the end of your seat every time he touches the ball. RB69 off the board. Raheem Mostert is in a position where he could siphon some touches here. They drafted Ashton Genty. I look for Genty to get all the work. I look for Genty to get all the touches. Mostert, as a dependable veteran brought in by the staff, might get sprinkled in intermittently, might be able to be a money ball play somewhere down the road, maybe a DFS option, a guy that you may or may not be picking up down the line. You're probably not drafting. Sincere McCormick is another running back you're paying attention to. He was effective last year, might be effective again. You're watching this backfield in training camp. Dylan Labe's got speed, could be a satellite back in this offense, could be a money ball play in deeper formats, but it's the Ashton Genty show here. Raheem Mostert does have some history in the league, can be effective, but a guy you're not chasing due to the lack of volume unless the injury bug starts to bite the Raiders. Those are the running backs that we're looking at today. Let me know who you're drafting in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.